Welcome all my fellow clergymen. I am the Funeral Parlor. Today I am coming at you with the, in my opinion, top 10 bad looking cars in GTA Online. To be completely fair, this one was a hard list to make because, well, for starters, all of the vehicles on this list, I don't currently own any of them. I did own them at one point in time and I got rid of them, or yeah, no, I pretty much got rid of them. So, in order to show you the cars that I'm going to be talking about, I'm basically going to go to the website where they can be found at and show you them from there. And yeah, again, these are in no particular order, but I will explain to you why I think the vehicle's ugly when it comes to it. Bad looking, ugly. I don't. Ugly is such a strong term, and I don't like using that term because, well, I think to me, it's kind of mean, especially when talking about a car. But some of these cars in this game, honestly, just can't be helped. Now, I will start this list off with the one that I currently don't have that can't be found on a website, which is the Impante Phoenix, which is based on the Pontiac Firebird and Trans Am from I think the 70s, I want to say. My biggest thing with the Impante Phoenix is the fact that I kind of just wish that we had a better variant of it. I'm not a huge fan of it. Probably one of the more, like I said, uglier looking cars. It's not bad. I did used to own a few back on PS3. I did own one in this version, but it was like in the PS4 version because that's what I'm on. I used to own one like a while ago, and then I just got rid of it because my biggest reasoning for liking it is because I could turn it into the Richard Petty car, which had the big spoiler on the back of it, but then they put in the ability to custom make the Bravado Gauntlet Classic. So I ended up getting rid of it because that was way more resemblant of that car. So yeah, I've really been wanting them to add a different variant of it, or like them to change that variant up of it and then maybe like add it to the website or something, because you can only pick up the Impante Phoenix off the streets. That's the only way you can get it, and that's the only car on this list that isn't on a website. Now I'm gonna go to Southern San Andreas and we're gonna begin with the other 9 cars that are on this list, starting with the Vapid Dominator GTX, which is, hold on, I'm sorry, I should have had this together and I don't. Okay, I must have already passed it. That's pretty funny. Uh, it should have been. Is it not? Where's it at? No, it should have been. It's a 2-door, isn't it? I am sorry about this. Oh, here it is. It's right here. So the Vapid Dominator GTX, which is based on the 6th gen Ford Mustang. Now, my biggest problem with this, and a lot of people's problem with this car, is that it doesn't really look like a Mustang. From the back end, which you can't see in this picture, it looks more like a modern Dodge Charger, which, like, you know, the side on it make it look like a Mustang. The roof of it makes it look like a Mustang, but the front end and the back end look more like, the front end right here reminds me more of like the Camaro. So like the prime example, Vigero ZX in the game. That's what it like realistically reminds me of. And then the grill where the lights sit reminds me more of it looks more like a Charger. It looks, I think I said Challenger, but it looks more like a Charger in that one. Then the back end, the lights make it look like a Charger as well. I just don't personally understand it. Probably one of the biggest reasons why I got rid of it is because I was like, yeah, they did the modern Mustang dirty with this one. Now, if you want something that, again, a lot of people don't like, I would highly recommend the, let me see if I can pull it up, the Vapid Dominator GT. This car looks a lot better because the back end and the front end make it look way more like a Mustang. The only problem is that it is a convertible, which I own one. I bought it on sale. It's not a bad car. I kind of just wish that if they did anything, that they would update the Dominator GTX to make it look like it's actually like a Mustang, because again, that car reminds me so much of other muscle cars, modern muscle cars, that it's just like I don't see the purpose of owning it. I'm not a huge fan of cars that look like other cars, to be completely fair. Um, so the next one up, which to be quite fair, I do not know if I'll be able to find the original version of this one. Um, Let me look and see, because I don't know. I want to say that it's on here, and it doesn't look like it is. So I'm going to use this one as a placeholder for it, but it is the Bravado Gauntlet, which is based on the '08 to 2013 Dodge Challenger. Now, the one thing that I do not like about this car is that, again, this is another car that whenever I put it on this list, I was like, used to own it. I am a bigger fan of the Bravado Gauntlet Classic, but this car, again, just looks like another car, and it looks, to me, in the front end and even in the back end, looks more like a Camaro, one of the older model Camaros, like one from like '06 to like 2010 is what it reminds me of, and I've never liked that. Plus, the shape of it is kind of like disproportionate. I've never looked at this car once and thought, oh my god, that's a Challenger. No, it doesn't really look like a Challenger. The Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire looks more like a modern Challenger than anything, and I actually really like that car, which is more than what I can say for this one, because I just, like I said, I look at this car and I'm just like, I can't even, I don't see it. I really don't. So yeah, that one is, like I said, probably one of the worst ones that, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of cars that look like other cars, if that makes any sense. The next one that I have on the list, which I do not think is actually on here again, so I did mess up at the beginning. I said it was going to be on here, and it actually isn't. It used to be on here. You used to be able to buy it, but it clearly isn't, and that is the Class A Sabre Turbo, which is based on a 1970 to 1972 Buick Skylark, taking some inspiration from the Oldsmobile 44 Deuce. So, again, you can't see this car, but this is another car that, like, I used to love this car back when I was on PS3. I don't think I've actually owned one in this version, in the PS4 version, which kind of says something, because like again really enjoyed the car, but something about it just made me like, I don't know. It does kind of suck though, because like I said, I used to love that car. I used to have like 3 or 4 variants of it back on the PS3. But when I got to like realizing what it really looks like, prime example, saying that it looks like a 4.4 Deuce, I was like, the proportions on it looks so much smaller than an Oldsmobile 4.4 Deuce does. And that's probably what led me to being like, I don't really like this car like that. That, to me was just like, okay, whatever. So, yeah, that one was just kind of, it was like, okay, all right, whatever. I don't know. That one, like I said, was like really interesting. So, yeah. Anyway, then all these other cars are going to be on this one right here. And we're going to start off with probably one of the older ones. Let me find it. Like I said, it's down here, I know it is. Yeah. The Truffade Adder, or Truffade Adder, as some people call it, which is based on the Bugatti Veyron 16.4 Super Sport. My biggest reasoning for it being on this list is the fact that I'm not a huge fan of Bugatti in general. So, yeah, I definitely like the Z type, the Truffaut Z type in this game. But as far as like this goes, not a huge fan of it. Honestly, most of the, if I have to be completely honest, most of the Truffaut cars minus the Z type would actually make this. So like the, I think Truffaut makes the Thrax. The Thrax would be on here. The like the other version of the Adder would be on here as well because I'm not a huge fan of those cars. I don't like the way they look. Yeah, that would be like my biggest reason why this one is on the list. My next one would have to be a car that I feel like everybody as of late has been agreeing on is just like a really ugly car. And it sucks that I even used to own this car because I thought, oh my god, it's one of the faster cars. But it's the Principe Devastate 8, which is based on a Devel 16. Um, this car is, to me, like I said, when I did own it, used to use it for races, and I felt like real bad because one of my friends and me used to play races, and he was like, "Oh, you only bought it because it's the best at races." I was like, "Yeah, I did." I felt like an asshole after I bought it too, because I was like, "Of course." But yeah, this car just doesn't look that good. I ended up getting rid of it because I was like, "Yeah, I just don't like the way it looks." I basically buy cars now based on like if I like the way they look. And most of the cars that, like I said, I've owned, most of these cars I've owned before, but I just didn't like the way they looked, so I got rid of them. This one is a big one. A lot of people do not like this car, and I do not blame them for that at all, because to be quite fair, it just, honestly, I've never seen one of these in real life, but I think, like, from the pictures that I have seen, it doesn't to me. But then again, I'm not into most like modern supercars, so to be completely fair, it makes the most sense why I don't like it and why a lot of people don't like it, because a lot of people don't like it for the simple fact that it just, most people don't like it because it's disproportionate. There are definitely some cars that I definitely look at people and I'm just like, what is this? I honestly don't know. Don't ask me. The next one up is the Overflawed Tyrant. I think I'm pronouncing that right. The Overflawed Tyrant, which is based on the Apollo automobile and Apollo Aero. I don't know who makes those cars. I used to own this car. I actually won it off of the Lucky Wheel and was like, oh, might as well spin for it. It seems like a really nice car. Plus, I honestly kind of wanted one at that point in time. I got it, and then I had it in my garage, almost never used it, and then realized that I do not like the way that this car looks. I never have liked the way that this car looked after I got it. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that I wasted all that time trying to spend it to get it on a Lucky Wheel. I'm lucky. I'm thankful I didn't buy the car because, to be quite fair, the price tag of 2.5 million is definitely not enticing enough to buy this car. Plus, this car is, I know like the picture doesn't do it very well, but the proportions on this car is so big. It is like a really big supercar that it just doesn't make any sense. Because like all the other supercars that I've seen in this game, I'm just like, okay, these look good. But the problem is that this one just looks bad. It's like, what is this? I don't, like I said, I don't know. I look at this car and I'm just like, yeah, I'm glad I don't own it anymore. That car right there was, yeah, one of the like more disappointing ones that I was just like, and then I didn't even hate to see it go. I was actually kind of happy that I got rid of it. Next one up, I know this one's gonna make people upset because there are a lot of people that really like this car, but it's the Pegassi Tesseract, which is based on the Lamborghini Terzo Millennio. I used to own this car. I think I won it off the podium. If I didn't, I think I bought it, but I don't know. I bought it because it was like an electric car and it was like pretty fast, but then come to find out that the Cyclone actually beats it, so it's not actually the fastest car, and I own a Cyclone and I didn't even know that. So this car right here, like I said, I owned it. I used to really like it. Then I started looking at it and I was like, yeah, I don't like this car. Plus, I like the front. This is a prime example of one of those cars that I really liked from the front end, but I hated the back end of this vehicle. The rear end of this car was just so. To me, I was like, every time I drove it, I was like, yeah, I do not like this at all. Plus, it didn't do really good in races, and its handling is not that great either. Like I said, I know there's a lot of people that like the Pegassi Tesseract, so I know I'm making some people mad, but like, this is just like, again, my opinion. Um, it's like I said, not the best looking car by any means, but yeah, it's like I said, some people like it, and I know they're going to be mad that I put it on this list because, like I said, a lot of these cars I used to own and I used to talk highly about too. But that has since passed, and I honestly would never do it again. I will say an honorable mention that I won't click on is probably the overflawed Autark. I used to like this car a lot. I actually bought one, or did I buy it or did I win it off the podium? I think I bought it. If I didn't, I won it off the podium. But this car right here just it. I used to like it. I liked the way that I made it look, but then I got it and I was like, yeah, I don't really like this car like that anymore. That would probably be like my only honorable mention as far as this list goes because that one is gonna be like interesting. The next car that I've got on here is actually I'm looking for it. I passed one, but I'm trying to see if it's on here because I know it's on here. I know it's on this site. Um, just trying to find it. I'll know if I can't find it because then I went up too far. It shouldn't be that high up. Yeah, because this is a part of like Drug Wars and San Andreas Mercenaries, the Chop Shop. Yeah, hold on. So okay, hold on. I'm doing that thing again where I thought I found the car and I clearly didn't. So then we're in two door, right? Because that looked like a that. Oh, that's not a four door. I thought it was. Uh, I know it's on this site, and I know it's a two door. I just for the life of me can't find it. Yeah, see, I'm going too far now because now I'm starting to hit some of the more classic cars. Hold on. Let me do one more time, and if not, then I'll just tell you what it is. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's white on here. Isn't it white on here? Oh no. I know it's not. Yeah, it shouldn't be this far up. Yeah, no, that's doing entirely too much. Let me look and see. I think I'm crazy for even thinking that it's a four door because it's supposed to be a supercar. But yeah, no, it's not even in here. So I don't know actually. Let me do one more time and see because it may not even be in on the website anymore, which would be a little interesting because I could have sworn that it was. Like I said, if it's too high up, I would be surprised because there's just no way. Um, yeah, like I said, this one's gonna be a little interesting. I cannot find it to save my life. Uh, okay, I really don't know where it is. It's crazy. I figured I would have found it by now, but I guess not. Oh, here it is. It's in red. I'm stupid. The next one up is the Grotti X80 Proto, which is based on the Ferrari F80 concept car. Sorry that I took so long to find that. Um, this one I used to own as well. I bought one because it's one of the cars that they give you whenever the custom cars are turned off in like some of those stunt races. It did perform like one of the best cars that performed. As far like I said, you turn the customs off and they give you like four options. That was like probably one of the best ones. My biggest reason for not liking it is again another car where the front end doesn't look so bad, the back end looks bad to me. And this is another car where I was just like, yeah, I kind of wish I wouldn't. I don't think I actually spent the money on. I think I won it off the podium, but another car that I was just like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one. This one kind of just like kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I was so mad too because I was like, oh, this really sucks. Honestly, I really liked this. Like I said, it's funny. I used to like this car a lot, and now it just reminds me of a time that I'm just like, okay, I don't know why I used to talk so highly about this car. Anyway, the last one on this list, I know exactly where it is because I passed it like 3 or 4 times already. So the last one on this list is the Anis RE7B, which is based on, from what the GTA wiki said, is based on numerous cars. The two that I have are the Nissan R390 GT1 and the Mazda 787B. So this was the first car that they put in the game that looks the way that it does, and then they added the cars like the LM87 and the S80RR. Now, Benefactor made the LM87 and Anis made the S80RR, if I'm not mistaken. But my biggest reason for not liking this car is because it's a two-seater, but another car that, again, doesn't look so bad from the front. I do not like the body style of this car. I think that, like, if they would have kept the, like, side straighter or something, because I'm not a huge fan of that. It just looks like, in the middle, it just looks stupid. And then the back end of it doesn't make it look better. I do not like the way this car is stanced. That's probably, like, my biggest thing about this. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just, like I said, another one of those cars where it's just like, again, now, I will say, this list was supposed to be based on cars that I've owned. This is one of the ones on this list that I don't think I've ever owned. I've only used it in stunt races back when I, did use it for stunt races, but that's pretty much it. So that does it for this list. If you liked the video, consider liking it. If you didn't, thumbs it down. I know there's probably going to be a lot of comments about people that are going to be talking about, oh, well, you don't like this car. Like, I don't care. Truth be told, I made this list because, like I said, in my personal opinion, these are some of the ugliest cars. I know there's going to be a lot of people that will probably be mad about, like, the biggest thing probably being like the Devastate 8, the Tesseract, and even something as small as like the Phoenix. But again, those are just my opinions. If you've got like something that you want to say, leave it down in the comments. But I'm still working on other top 10s right now as we speak, so hopefully they'll go a lot smoother than this one. I had to look for a car and looked for it for quite some time, so hopefully we resolve that. And yeah, other than that, I'm the Funeral Parlor, and I will see you at the funeral.